So what's going on with the U.S. housing market? Can you buy assets right now? Are foreclosures up and is the sky falling? We're going to talk about a lot of that right now. I'm going to go through some data and then I'm going to show you step by step how you find assets, evaluate them, and make sure they produce profit so you can still accumulate assets no matter the economic cycle. So we're going to look at some stats over here. It's on your screen too. But we're going to see right now that U.S. pending home sales, they just hit the lowest levels ever for the month of February. Now, you're going to see some other articles out there that February sales are up, but that's like day to day or month to month. But year over year, sales continue to collapse in the real estate market. On the traditional MLS listing, real estate agent, go find a house, buy a house, they're down significantly, and I don't think it's going to continue. I don't think it's going to stop. I think it's going to get worse. So let's take a look over here. The stats on this is 28% below normal February levels. So there's a normal average February level on home sales. This is 28% down from that last year. And then it's 13% lower than the February of 2009, which is the worst, the last financial crash, the depths of that. So it's down. No matter how you slice this thing, it's not looking pretty for the real estate market. If you want to buy a traditional home on a traditional real estate market, it's going to be tough. It's going to be hard. And or if you're trying to sell, it's going to be bad. And here's why. Here's one of the main contributing reasons of this is that the 30-year, let's go back, the 30-year mortgage rate jumps to 6.86. Now, as of this recording, it's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to change, but we are just continually stuck over this 6% number. And if you're trying to buy houses this way, you're going to have a hard time. There's other ways to buy homes, though. Homes are still moving for investors that know what they're doing. The highest levels since November of 2025. And then you're going to see here, according to ATTOM, who is one of the major real estate information sources, they've got a lot of data on real estate. The number of Americans losing their homes to banks has risen, so foreclosures, for the 12th consecutive month, highlighting mounting pressure on the U.S. housing market. In February, foreclosure activity reached 38,840 properties, which is a 20% increase compared to the same month last year. So it's getting worse, it's getting tougher, and this is something we've talked about. We knew this was coming, we knew this was going to happen. Here's some of the data in a map form if you'd like pictures. But we've been talking about this for quite some time. The FHA loss mitigation program went away. That means that people that stopped paying their mortgage, the mortgage servicer was incentivized by the United States federal government to call the person that did not pay their mortgage and say, hey, I see you haven't paid your mortgage in 90 days, 3 months. Are you able to make next month's payment? The person on the other end of the line with the home will go, no, I can't. Well, no, let me ask you differently. Are you going to make the next payment? And they go, I guess, yes. I don't have any money, but yes. Perfect, I'll put you down. Well, they would put them down as saying, yes, not sending any money, no money moved. They would say, yes, we'll make the next payment. The federal government would incentivize and pay the mortgage servicer. You're good to go. That's happened since 2020. So it's been over 6 years of people not paying their mortgage. That program's going away and these houses are getting foreclosed on. You can't not pay your bills and expect to keep your things. That's how it works. So we knew this was coming. We knew this was going to happen whenever the FHA loss mitigation program went away. And what we're seeing right now is 400,000 to 1 million plus homes are going to hit the foreclosure market. What? And it's only going to get bigger. It's only going to get scarier. If you're not paying your mortgage, it's going to be tough. But on the other side of that equation are investors. And if you want to learn as an individual investor of how to go out there and buy assets that cash flow, I'm going to walk you through how you can identify and find these houses, where they're at, step by step, live right now, in 5 steps or less. We're going to do it. We're going to do it live. We're going to do it live. And I'm going to walk you through. Very simple. So step number 1, let me know in the chat, what state are you tuning in from? Where are you at in the world? Let me know in the comments. What state are you in? So we're going to go to the internet, as you can see my screen right now, and we're going to go, who maintains property records in whatever state you're in? So it says, let's get this other mouse. I like this one better for what we're doing. And all you're going to do, step number 1, let me know in the chat where you're tuning in from. What state are you in when you're watching this video? It's fun for me to see people from all over the world. I guess we're not going to, oh, here we go. Okay, so you can see right here, I'm going to zoom in. I'm just searching who maintains property records in Texas. But you would type in your state. The principle you need to understand for step number 1 of finding foreclosures, of finding properties going to foreclosure, is who in your area maintains property records. Somebody by law has to keep track of these property records. We're just going to search that area. You would type in Tennessee, you would type in Alabama, you would type in Nevada. You just need to figure out where you live, okay? Just walk outside, Look at the street address. Where am I? Look up in the sky. I don't know. Figure it out. Who maintains property records? So now that I know in the state of Texas, the county clerk maintains property records, then I'm going to go to that source. The county clerk maintains property records. They're going to have all the information on the property that I want to buy. They're going to have foreclosure records, so on and so forth. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go search Dallas County Clerk. I'm in Texas. Good morning. I'm going to go to Dallas County Clerk, and I'm going to go and look for their list of foreclosures. Step number 1 of finding foreclosures: who maintains property records in your state? Step number 2 of finding foreclosures: go to that source. Step number 3 of finding foreclosures is to look for the list at the source, which is, for my state, is the county clerk. So let's scroll down. Here it says, look at that. Will you look at that? It says foreclosures. Come on, baby. We're going to open it up. Boop. We're going to look for the list of foreclosures. Now, in the state of Texas, we are a Super Tuesday state. What does that mean? That means the first Tuesday of every month, we have a live auction foreclosure. So I'm going to look for this, find foreclosure notices. I see it here. And look at this. There's the month of April, which is coming up. April 7th is a Tuesday. It's our first Tuesday of the month. And I can go here and I can start looking at the foreclosure listings. These are all the foreclosure listings for the month of April in Dallas County, which is one county out of 254 counties in the state of Texas. There's a lot of foreclosures. So let's go to Cedar Hill. Let's look at Cedar Hill number 1. Now I'm looking at the actual announcement. This is the actual notice of substitute trustee sale. So they are announcing that there is going to be a foreclosure of a property. There's a time that they're going to auction it between 10 a.m. and 1 p.m. on April 7th, 2026. So if you're watching this before then, this is coming up. So you can get in front of these transactions. The first thing I'm going to look for when I find this foreclosure announcement is the debt amount. You can see right here. It says $152,000. You see down there? $152,000 is the debt amount on that property. This is going to auction. I also see the address. Let's go figure this out. If the opening bid is the debt remaining on this property, which is $152,000, and I'm going to go search and estimate how much this property might be worth. Let's go to Zillow. Is Zillow the most accurate? No. But is it going to give me a ballpark idea in 2 to 3 minutes? For show. They say it's worth $360,000. I don't know if that's true and accurate. I'm going to figure it out as I continue on with my research. But out of the gate, if the opening bid is $152,000, and if this property is worth $360,000, should we continue researching this property? You just found how to find and evaluate assets in 5 steps or less. Specifically, foreclosed properties. That's the name of the game. What? Yeah, awesome, right? But let me show you this. Let's get a little bit deeper. Here's some software I've been developing with some of my software developer team. And you can just plug in any address. Let's go to Florida, Ohio. Florida, Ohio's a place? No way. I don't think that's true. Let's just go, we can search whatever. Let's go Ohio. And let's take this Zillow link. So check this out. I know how difficult it can be to find and evaluate assets. I've been doing it for 19 years. And I remember what it's like to be just starting out. So I built some software. Not me. I just kind of gave some ideas, and then my developers built this software. But let's go into my property analyzer tool, and let's open this bad boy up. All I'm going to do is paste in the Zillow link. Boop. So I paste in the Zillow link, and I'm going to start analyzing. I'm going to pull data. So I'm going to take data from the open market, looking at rental comps, looking at sales comps, looking at Airbnb comps, looking at other stuff. And then I'm going to take the information that I use and how I evaluate properties. And I'm going to put those two pieces of information together, and this is going to tell me if it's going to cash flow, if it's going to make money. So out of the gate, I found this property, and it's $165,000. And all I did was paste in the Zillow link. So on this side, this is going to pull data from comps in the area. What are other people renting their properties for that have a similar square footage, bedroom, bathroom that I have? So it's going to pull the rental data comp. It's going to tell me that. Now, I can go into this and I can override it. I can go smaller. I can go higher. But this is going to tell me what the market is charging right now. And then I'm going to go over here, and then I'm going to plug it into how I analyze properties. And I'm going to figure out the monthly income, my mortgage, my principal interest, my property taxes, my insurance. And I'm going to set aside money for vacancy in case somebody moves out, set aside money for repairs, and set aside money for capital expenditures, which is like the big things you're going to have to replace anyway at some point, like the roof, the HVAC, air conditioner, furnace, things like that. It's the really big expensive things that you need to be setting aside savings for to fix those and replace those at some point in time. So those are 3 categories of money that I'm earning, but I'm setting aside in like a high yield savings account. And you can see vacancy repairs CapEx, 122, 150, 150. Maybe that's like $450 or something like that. Cool. So that's going into a bank account. I'm not touching that. I've got it, but I'm not using that. I'm just setting it aside to repair the property. And I can see this thing doesn't cash flow. Ooh, $110,000. Maybe that tells, $110 a month is what I'm losing. Red is not good. Minus, not good. So I can see that for a cash flow, a monthly income perspective, this property doesn't make sense. All I did was copy and paste the Zillow link from the software that I built. Okay, doesn't cash flow. Well, do I pass on this? Maybe not. Maybe I want to figure out what my maximum offer price is going to be where this thing would still cash flow, and I can adjust my offer price. And if I pay less on this property, of course, there's more profit in it. Cool. Or I could pull data and go a different direction on this real estate property and try to cash flow it from a different angle. Well, let's go over here. Now let's pull the data on a short-term rental property. So I'm going to take Airbnb information directly from Airbnb, directly from VRBO, directly from Booking.com. I am pulling that data directly from people in that area that own Airbnbs, that own short-term rental properties, and I am seeing what they're charging. They're charging $82 a night. I am seeing their occupancy rate. I'm seeing 60%. So then I can estimate on what other people are doing, what I could make. There's no theory, just reality. And I'm going to see that after fees, I'm only going to net about $500 a month. This is still not going to cash flow. I don't like it. I can also look at my market snapshot. I can see what other properties are doing. This is all data and information that I've plugged in into my software. All I've got to do is copy and paste the Zillow link. And I can see comparable properties. I'm going to run an analysis on all of this. The point is not showing you all of that. What I do want to show you is what if it doesn't cash flow? What if I'm not happy with the amount of cash flow that I'm getting? Well, then what I can do is I'm pulling data on nearby foreclosures. So this is going to adjust my purchase price. Instead of buying at fair market value and bidding against other people or at whatever the seller's trying to sell for, I can just go find foreclosures in this area. If I like the area, if I think the zip code is great, if I think there's an attraction here for a short-term rental property, if I think it's going to have long-term rental property, good stuff going on, long-term rental income, but the purchase price is too high, then I can just go and look for foreclosures. So I'm going to pull data on upcoming foreclosure auctions in this area, which is exactly what this is. And what did I do? All I did was copy and paste my Zillow link into this. And then my software pulls that data. I've got access to all that data all in one location. I pull it and then I can go bid. Now check this out. Archibald, Ohio, 23592 County Road, $0 opening bid. Oh! So now you can buy foreclosures for $0 opening bid, oftentimes because there's no mortgage on the property. Other times you can bid on what the remaining mortgage is, or it could be an HOA foreclosure, a condo association foreclosure. It could be a property tax foreclosure. There's many different reasons that somebody might get foreclosed. But this one right here, 605 South Main Street in Bryan, Ohio, $60,000 online auction. $0, $25,000 opening bid, in-person auction. There's 4 pages of auctions. So if I look, here's my point. If I find this property and its asking price is $165,000, and then I go down to my calculator, it doesn't cash flow, I would lose $110 a month. Then I'm not buying the property at that price. But what if I still like the area? Then I'm going to use the data from my tool, from my software calculator, and I'm going to find that there's other foreclosures available in this area. Boom. That is one of the ways that I find assets that cash flow. So when you see things foreclosing, when you see markets tightening, when you see all these foreclosures hitting the market, you've got to have a plan, you've got to have a process so that you can go out there and find these assets. This is one of the things that I do. That's how I find foreclosures in 5 steps or less. And I also use a software to help me figure this out and do this in volume. But anyway, if you're new here and you want to hang out with us, make sure you subscribe. I go live all the time and I teach you how I find assets that cash flow. There's no theory here. This is reality. This is what I do with my life. I've been doing this for 19 years. If you want to hang out, just subscribe. Peace.